I just do not have the patience to wait for the right moment, so I'm just sort of creating the right moment here by adding lights to my playground in the forest, so that I can try out my craft even if it's a little bit later in the day. The loud background noise you'll hear in just a moment is the gasoline generator going. So the gasoline generator powers two lights here, and I will just, yeah, there I turn on the third light to have it's a battery powered backup if the gasoline generator would stop, because it would be pitch black if light goes out. So now I have 4 more powerful motors mounted on the wings there, which gives me a lot better performance. So these flights are just for testing the tuning, the PID tuning, and to establish that the craft now has the vertical performance I'm looking for to enable the altitude hold and loiter mode to be able to function. So the settings, I have gone up in the PID settings significantly. I started out with like almost stock settings in the autopilot or Arducopter software. I did set them a little bit higher because I didn't recognize the small like movement of the control surfaces from my first version, so I upped them a little bit to match that better. And it seems that I would have to go up even higher in PID settings to make the craft more connected to the stick. It could like self-stabilize even like in the stock settings, but it really just floated around and didn't have much control over it. So now I have the vertical performance, which is lovely, and I can move it around. This flight here, it's minus 7 degrees Celsius, so it was super cold, and I could feel my hands getting chilled down by the downdraft from the multi-rotor, or from the Levitator, I mean. So even though it's just a slight breeze, it's a significantly cooling effect when the weather is like super calm when it comes to the wind. So the only wind created here was from the craft. And the camera has, of course, difficulty to capture the colors and everything, but it actually looked pretty amazing there in the floodlight. And now, once I have settled these first like settings for the PID loop, I will start experimenting with the altitude hold functionality. So I'm going at that right now, and you can see I have some pretty serious vertical oscillation here. Yeah, it's just so much inertia in the system, and the flight controller was not prepared for that. So I'm trying new settings, higher gains generally. Well, actually I'm just trying out various settings of the gains, but generally they are going up. So here's a little bit better. And now we're really getting somewhere. It still has a slight vertical oscillation here, but it's definitely progressing in the right direction. Yeah, and here it's really good, and I'm actually also now switching over to LOITER to see if it also can keep its position horizontally as well. And what do you know? It actually works. So it's, of course, far from optimized, but it does hold its position within a meter or so. You can see that it will start to drift a little bit to the left and right, but bounces against the invisible wall there of the GPS and goes back. So I am pretty happy with this outcome during this fourth test session. And of course I had to do the mandatory posing with the controller. Not that it proves anything, but it just feels so good to be able to do that with this unconventional craft. and you can hear the motors are not, like, they're working pretty hard up and down, so it's sort of not super efficient when it comes to the like maximizing hover time, but it does keep its position, and that's just a significant achievement for me in this phase of the project. And just before ending this video, I want to show you the final part of the assembling process of the machine. And check out the flexibility of the wings. They are so weak until the wires are tensioned. You can see them, the aluminum bowing there. But once it's firmly like stiffened with the wires, it gets really rigid. But it's so vulnerable before the wires get stretched. Okay, that's it for this time. See you later. Bye.